Can you believe the first home in history was built by prehistoric humans? For a beautiful girl. This isn't just a story about sticks and stones, it's a tale of innovation, survival, and maybe even the world's first romance, all sparked by a single, revolutionary idea. Imagine a world 400,000 years ago. No houses, no cities, just endless wilderness. Our ancestors, early humans like Homo heidelbergensis, were constantly on the move, chasing herds and fleeing predators. Their lives were a relentless cycle of hunting, gathering, and sleeping under the stars or in the temporary shelter of caves. But in what is now modern-day France, at a site we call Terra Mater, something extraordinary happened. Archaeologists unearthed evidence that would completely rewrite our understanding of early human life. They found the remains of not just one, but 21 separate huts, built and rebuilt over successive years. These weren't just random piles of debris, they were structured, intentional dwellings. So, what did this first home look like? Forget everything you see on TV. These were oval-shaped huts, about 26 to 49 feet long and 13 to 20 feet wide. The builders drove large stakes into the ground to form the walls, likely weaving branches and leaves between them to create a barrier against the wind. A line of stones inside the hut probably supported these walls, and a central post held up the roof. The most groundbreaking discovery of all, a hearth. A fireplace right in the center of the hut. This wasn't just for warmth, it was a game changer. It meant they could cook food, making it safer to eat and easier to digest. It provided light after sunset, extending their day and allowing for social bonding. And it kept dangerous predators at bay. This simple fireplace was the heart of the home, transforming a mere shelter into a center of community life. The evidence found at Terra Mater paints a vivid picture of daily existence. Archaeologists discovered the bones of deer, elephants, wild boars, and even rhinos, suggesting these early humans were skilled and coordinated hunters. They found stone tools, meticulously crafted for butchering animals and preparing hides. There were even traces of pigments like red ochre, hinting at early forms of art or body decoration. This wasn't just a campsite, it was a home base, a place they returned to year after year, during the spring and early summer. It was a place of stability in a chaotic world. But the most intriguing question remains, why? Why did they suddenly decide to stop wandering and build a home? This is where our story takes a fascinating turn. The traditional theory is simple: survival. A stable home offered protection from the elements and predators, making life safer for the entire group. It allowed them to store food and resources, planning for the future instead of living hand to mouth. It created a social hub, a place where knowledge could be shared, skills could be taught, and bonds could be strengthened. Building and maintaining a home required cooperation, which would have reinforced social structures and laid the groundwork for future communities. It was a logical, practical step in human evolution. But what if there's more to it? What if the motivation wasn't just practical, but personal? Let's explore a more dramatic possibility. What if the driving force behind this incredible leap in innovation was love? Now, we can't know for sure, of course. We're talking about a time hundreds of thousands of years before written language. But human nature hasn't changed that much. The desire to protect, to provide for, and to impress a potential mate is a powerful motivator. So, let's imagine a young hunter. Let's call him Kale. He's strong, and he's a good provider. But there's a girl in his group. Let's call her Lar. She's intelligent and resourceful. In a world of constant danger, Kel wants to offer her something no one else can: security. A safe place, away from the prowling saber-toothed cats and the harsh, budding winds. So, he starts to build. He gathers the strongest branches, the biggest stones. He experiments, figuring out how to construct a shelter that can withstand the weather. The others in his group watch, skeptical at first. But then they see the logic. They see the potential. They start to help. The construction of the first home becomes a community project, a symbol of their shared future. Kil isn't just building a hut, he's building a promise. A promise of a better, safer life for Alar and for their future children. This story, whether fact or fiction, adds a deeply human element to the archaeological record. It suggests that the greatest innovations in history might be driven not just by our brains, but by our hearts. Think about what this meant. Before the home, life was transient. Family groups were likely small and fluid. But with a stable base, everything changed. It allowed for a more complex social life. Elders could pass down wisdom to the younger generation in a secure environment. Children could play and learn without constant fear. The concept of neighbor might have even begun to form as different family units built their huts side by side. The home became the foundation for society itself. It was the birthplace of culture, community, and maybe even love as we know it. But here's the real cliffhanger. The huts at Terra Mater were not permanent. The evidence suggests they were occupied seasonally for about 15 years and then abandoned. Why? Did the resources in the area run out? Did the climate change? Or did something more dramatic happen? Archaeologists found that the site was eventually covered by rising sea levels. Did our ancestors simply move on to find a new, better location for their next home, taking their revolutionary new knowledge with them? Or were they forced to flee a natural disaster, a great flood that wiped their home from the landscape, leaving only faint traces for us to find 400,000 years later? The abandonment of the first home is as mysterious as its creation. What we do know is that the idea didn't die. The concept of building a home spread. Across the world, other early humans began to create their own shelters, adapting the basic design to their local environments. From the mammoth bone huts of Ice Age Ukraine to the rock shelters of the Middle East, the idea of a home had taken root. This single innovation at Terra Mater, whether born of necessity or affection, was a spark that ignited a revolution. It was the moment we stopped just surviving in the world and started to shape it to our will. It was the moment we truly started to become human. So, the next time you walk through your front door, take a moment. Think about that first home on a beach in ancient France. Think about the ingenuity, the hard work, and the community spirit that went into building it. And maybe, just maybe, think about a young hunter trying to impress a girl, and in doing so, accidentally changing the course of human history forever. The story of our first home is the story of us. It's a testament to our enduring need for safety, for community, and for a place to call our own. What do you think was the real reason they built it? Was it purely for survival, or do you believe a more personal story could be true? Let me know your theories down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey back in time, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more stories from our incredible human past.